Why are you getting nowhere following the big fitness YouTubers when it seems to work for them? What is it that they have that you don't? Or are you just left spinning your wheels year after year? But you might be wondering, if I want to look like them, shouldn't I be doing what they're doing? The answer to that might surprise you, because you could actually be slowing down your progress by years if you are putting the big YouTuber fitness advice into action. But here's why. They are all amazing channels, but they lack one thing that you actually need. So funny thing is, it's kind of like the movie Cars. My family and I just recently been going through the Cars series, and just the other night we finished the third movie in the series. But what you might not actually realize is that you're thinking about this like a race car, like Lightning McQueen, which of course, who doesn't want to be Lightning McQueen? But that's actually going to ruin your progress. So let me explain. All right, here's your Lightning McQueen. Race cars have to be insanely fast. They need to have peak performance, but that doesn't come easy. There's a cost to it. So they have to actually be serviced in order to meet the demands that the driver's going to be putting on them. They get new tires multiple times, all just in one race. They're going to have endless tune-ups and adjustments. They're going to need the best engines, parts, and oil, of course, all to ensure that they're going to be operating at peak performance so that it can actually support their output. The big YouTubers are, in a way, like race cars. This is what they do. They have major performance demands that are on them, and their lives revolve around fitness. I mean, I don't blame them. It's their job. They're gonna have a ton of flexibility for training. They have plenty of time for recovery, and often they're gonna have access to different resources, training supplements that are all gonna give them just that slight edge. Now I know, okay, this is gonna sound defeatist, like I'm giving you all these reasons why you're not actually gonna look like them, but that's not what I'm saying. Because did you notice the one thing that they don't have? A connection to what the average person's life actually looks like. I mean, specifically yours. Because let's be honest, for as amazing as all of their information is, it's not all necessarily relevant to your life. And I would argue that depending on what your life actually looks like, you're probably actually slowing down your progress if you're following what they say. Do you want a little more beef, buddy? Yeah, okay. I couldn't get it off the fork. Now I know this is gonna sound like I'm knocking them, but I'm truly not. But what you do need to do is take their information and actually tailor it to your own life. Because we're not race cars. The demands on our lives are vastly different. But of course the big question is, how do you do that? But don't worry, because that's where we're headed with all of this. Because what you have to remember is most of the guys on these channels don't have families, and some of them aren't even married either. You are. And also, your life does not center around fitness. Your fitness has to fit in to the nooks and crannies of life. Excuse me, I'd like to talk here.
Bye-bye.
Now, I have lived this and spent so much time. Now, I have lived this and spent so much time watching this type of content, which is great. But it's not all immediately useful depending on what your life looks like. And I had to learn over several years what information was actually necessary and what I didn't really need to worry about, because some of their information, although it's considered scientifically optimal, it's not necessarily going to be optimal for you. So for example, think of like someone like a Jeff Nippard, who was advocating for a little while there, a 5 to 6 days a week, full body training split. Now for most people, that is going to be far too much volume and it's going to be very difficult to recover from. For him, maybe it's not. He's got the ability to recover from it and he just enjoys being in the gym that long. But I can almost guarantee that in your life, that's probably going to be far too much volume. And unknowingly, you could implement that and not be making results and be struggling, wondering why. Another great one is hitting failure. Most people working out in the gym are probably not training hard enough, so they need to make sure that they're getting closer to failure. Now, if you're watching this video, you probably are someone who is training hard enough. So if you're implementing failure more often, you're gonna be more likely to overtrain and struggle to recover from it, and therefore be hindering your ability to actually build muscle most effectively. But there's one big reason why YouTube fitness actually makes the reality of transforming your body so difficult. And it's probably not what you would guess. When you venture onto YouTube, I mean, what do you see? Guys already jacked showing you what they do. You see the transformation in a snapshot. And to make the video clickable, which unfortunately is just the nature of this type of media, it's gonna be boiled down into the one thing I did, only change I made, all that I did to get shredded, the one thing to build bigger biceps. And most of the time, you're just completely missing out on the reality of the actual process and really how long it actually took. And one of the problems is this is just difficult to show unless somebody goes out of their way to actually show it. But before you abandon this video just feeling like all hope is lost, I want to show you how you can actually use this to your advantage so that you can skyrocket your progress and get there way faster. Now, am I telling you not to follow these channels anymore? Absolutely not. Their information is great. But what I do want you to do is actually follow these steps when you are consuming their content. Okay, so the first thing that you need to actually do is just to assess your sleep. And not just the quantity, but really more importantly, the quantity. All I can ask is just to try to get as much sleep as you can, but more importantly, be as consistent as you can with going to bed and getting up at the same times. And really just work to improve the quality of your sleep through limiting screens at night, dimming lights, having some sort of bedtime routine, and that will massively improve your sleep. You can also keep your room a lot darker at night and keep it cool in the house, and that's all gonna help to boost the quality of sleep. Next, I want you to assess recovery. What does your recovery actually look like? Are you consistently getting stronger with your lifts, meaning more weight, better form, and more reps? Or are you, as I was saying, are you getting sore more than 3 times a week? And also, are you starting to experience joint pain, achy joints, random aches and pains throughout the week? Now finally, think about your stress. Someone is climbing on the table. Down off the table, sweet pie. Thank you. How demanding is your job right now, and how long are the hours that you're having to work? And do you feel like you just can't keep up and like you're drowning in all the responsibilities? Assess that level of how you just feel on a normal basis. Does it just feel like too much? So if you find that your sleep is lacking, yes, he's vacuuming. So if you find that your sleep is actually lacking, your recovery is low, and your stress is very high, do not follow the big YouTuber's advice to a T. It's only gonna slow down your transformation. So instead, here's what I want you to do. I want you to focus more on your sleep than on your training. I want you to stop going all the way to failure when you lift. When your form actually starts to break down, just drop the weights and rest. Make sure your goal is to have as many pieces of your fitness run on autopilot so you don't have to be thinking about this constantly throughout the day. So once you have all of those in order, what you then need is just consistency and patience. Just start doing these over and over again, because here is what the big YouTubers have that you don't yet. They have the right information, plus the right stimulus for their body, plus time. Years and years of training and putting these things into practice. But I know firsthand how hard time is to come by. So if you want to save years of guesswork and trial and error, I would love the opportunity to actually be the bridge between you and the results that you want. You'll get a custom built program that I will guide you through with all of the day-to-day questions, all of the troubleshooting, so that you don't waste time. So click the link right up over here to learn more about working with me one-on-one. And as always, be intentional, bring the intensity, and I'll see you in the next video.